Hey guys, so happy Wednesday. It's the 6th. I'm sorry I'm getting to you a little bit late today. Um, it's kind of the same old story I've been hearing lately. But I did want to touch on a couple of points. Um, in a way, I feel bad. I had so much momentum coming back from the trip, the journey, and I got right into the book and um, was banging away and doing real well and positive. And then I also was blessed to find a job with a really strong company that's been good to me. The challenge is I've been pretty good to them, and I've been working just long hours. I'm still here. I can't leave the warehouse till my last truck gets back, and it might not be till about 8 o'clock. As an example, last night I got home around 9 p.m., and that was from 4 a.m., 4:30 in the morning. So it's kind of hard to find time to write in there, and that's really kind of been the crux of things. I've been fortunate to talk to some friends of mine. Glenn reached out to me today and said, "Hey, how's the book coming? I can't wait to read it." And honestly, I can't wait to get it out there. It's just my night manager that I hired is not going to be able to start till January, so it's going to be a long month of December. Um, and on a sad note, and my prayers go out to. I'm sorry, I keep getting these text messages here. Um, my warehouse lead that gets in around 3 in the morning, his dad passed away just a couple of days ago. So now there are three of us here doing the work of four, and now there's two of us. But my manager came in from out of town to lend a hand, so that's been a blessing. But guys, I want to get. I swear to you, I'm so motivated to get out and start reaching out to the schools that I've talked to. Start talking about the book, the children's series, so many other things. I really am committed. It's just a matter of finding the time. And then on top of it, I'm still learning so many of the new processes within this company that, where I may have some downtime in the day, even though I'm in the office and could maybe, write a chapter or something like that. I don't have that because I'm learning processes and, books like this and the whole bit. So that's been a bit of a bummer, you know. But I did want to talk about something today, that just shows one person versus the other. Some of you that are following me can recall when I first got back, I came home to a pile of mail and bills, and one of the things that happened was I had gotten served to appear in court, or so I thought, on a holiday, because one of my creditors who I hadn't paid, and rightfully so, they have every right to I don't know what the term is, but go after me, pass judgment, whatever. So I got this letter. I'm no attorney, and I'll even show it to you. But it kind of looks like this, and you see all the highlighted portions? So the top portion says, a civil complaint has been filed against you. A civil action here has been scheduled to be held on or at, and it had the address. Now below it, to their credit, and highlighted, it says, please note this date is a deadline to request an actual hearing. If you intend to enter defense, you should so notify this office immediately in writing. So I will grant you it says that, but it says it right below. A hearing has been scheduled on this day. So I did what I would always do if I ever got something like a fight and a speeding ticket or something like that. I said, okay, I'll show up that day and handle it, whatever has to be handled. Well, if you recall, I showed up on that day and the office was closed. And then when I called back, the following day, the woman was like, oh, yeah, I wrote those out before I knew. And, aw, shucks, But it's not, you didn't have to appear anyway. It's just, if you want to call the creditor and work something out, you can. So I hadn't called them yet. Again, been very, very busy. And in the meantime, I got another letter from the court saying, I guess, I don't know why I just put this back down on my pile of papers, but a notice of judgment against me for like 3 times the amount of my loan. And it's signed by the judge on that very same date, the day the office was closed. So I don't know what this is. So again, I pick up the phone today to call and say, hey, I'm a little curious as to how you could award a judgment on a day that I showed up for the court case and there was no court case. But instead of the woman saying, that, well, yeah, it was a mistake, she wanted to tell me how basically I'm an idiot because I didn't read the paper that she highlighted. And I wanted to explain to her, well, I'm not an attorney, but I did read the paper. And I still have an issue with why this judgment. Can you help me understand it? And as she read it to me, she wanted to make sure I knew that it was kind of my mistake that this happened. And this judge signed off on this on November 12th because I didn't respond. You know what I'm saying? But I did respond. I showed up in your office on November 12th, and I think it's kind of, how do you tell me a judge signed it on a day the office was closed when I was there? And her answer was precious as well. It's just you can see a signature down here. It's just a signature, and we just write the date in. So again, shouldn't a signature and a date be a legal binding moment, or whatever the term is? I'm looking for that moment, but shouldn't that be, you sign and you date it on a day that's active? So I tried to explain to her that this thing probably isn't even legal, being apparently the judge, who didn't really sign it, he had his clerk write the date into his already photocopied signature on the day they were closed. So I'm pretty sure that wouldn't hold up in a court if I contested it. And I tried to offer that, and then again, she got all attitude with me and says, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not looking to argue. I'm just wondering how it is you can pass judgment on a date that you got the date right here when I wasn't there. So that having been said, I realize there's no point in trying to even have a rational conversation, because she seemed to be more indignant and wanting to dig her feet in the ground that, the judgment was passed against me because the judge signed it on that day when obviously he couldn't sign it on that day, being he was off for a holiday. So, but conversely, I happened to call that creditor and speak to them and said, look, I'm trying to understand why there's a judgment in X amount of dollars when I only had a loan for this amount. And they said, oh no, we made a mistake, it's too high, we knocked it down, and we were forced to kind of have a civil action because we hadn't gotten paid or heard from you. And I said, well, look, I'd always paid you on time and regularly my monthly payment, and is there anything I could do? What do I need to do to get this back on track with you? And she was more than cordial, more than willing to work with me. Said, look, can you get back on track with your monthly payments? I said, absolutely. When do you want to? And she said, you tell us the date. And I said, well, I could probably do it my first paycheck this Friday, but that might be tight. Said, you wait till the next paycheck 2 weeks after that. She said, sure. And if you make good for so many months, we can take the months you missed and add it to the back end of the loan, kind of thing. And